Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Happy New Year to everyone. This is Talking Heads on USA Global TV and Radio, and I am today's show host. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Thank you for being here. For those of you who have not been on one of our Talking Heads programs as of yet, this is not an interview and it's not a conversation. Talking Heads is a perspective show. Each episode focuses on what actually determines whether a business, an organization, or a platform lasts, beyond ideas, efforts, or intention. So for those of you who don't know, I have a very long experience being in corporate America. I had 4 major jobs during my career, and I really loved what I did. I traveled the world. I went in first class, business class. I ate the best food, and I was very, very well paid, 6 figures year after year after year. But that all changed when I decided to retire. And of course, then the pandemic hit and all my plans were in the trash can. So it just goes to show you, you never know what's going to happen. I never imagined in my entire life that I would be a business owner, let alone owning 2 businesses, and be in the public as a public figure doing television and radio and keynote speeches. But that's what happened. And so what I want to share with you is a little bit about what I've learned. I'm going to have a number of episodes that are focusing on business. So some of you know me as the listening mentor. You know the work that I've done and do with listening as a peace ambassador, but I'm also a business owner, and I'm also someone who takes business very seriously. So I've learned a lot since I started my television platform, which was in 2021, I believe. January, I think we are coming up on, maybe it was 22, we're coming up on 4 years. So it's been 4 years. And then I have my other business, Dr. Jacalyn, which is where I have my books. I've written, I think, 26 different books in the last 3 years. And I'm a keynote speaker, and I am a highly wanted coach and someone who people look to for advice and counsel. So what today's topic is, what no one tells you about running a business. So I want to share just upfront, this is not about motivation. It's not about having the right mindset, and it's not about what everybody else is doing and what we see on social media, what seems to be really cool. It's about the realities that quietly shape the outcomes long before anyone sees the word failure. What do I mean by this? We see it in the news all the time. And by the way, I'm not a big advocate for mainstream news. In fact, I have 4 televisions and I only turn one of them on. And that's either to watch our shows on our YouTube channels, or it's to watch Netflix or some other streaming platform. So I don't watch anything that's live. But what I can tell you is that the reality is major corporations go under and people are shocked. It's like, wow, I can't believe that. I was just in their store. I was just in their restaurant. But yet things were going awry long before they closed down. And the same thing is true, even though this is a business show. When there's a relationship that comes to an end, somebody might say, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that he or she felt this way." Well, your relationship ended long before the actual ending. You just didn't know it. And sometimes that's because we're not paying attention. And by the way, there's no judgment in this show. That's part of what I teach people with elevated listening. It's not about judging, it's about finding the solution. And so that is what I am all about. I ask people to think about taking your emotions, expressing them for 10 minutes. That's my limit. It's a 10-minute limit. And then I say to myself, okay, Jacalyn, it's time to look for the solution, because crying, boohoo, angry, whatever it is, it's not going to move your efforts forward. It's only going to keep you back. So today I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned. And there's so many things I've learned in the last 4 years. I can't even tell you. It's amazing to me. One thing that's not in our topic today that I just want to touch on is in 2011, I graduated with my doctorate, and it took me 6 years to get it. And I only wanted people in my corporate work to address me as Dr. Kerbeck. And I was told, absolutely not. You're either a salesperson, which is what I was, or you're an academic. And so I tried to make the case, well, I'm actually both, because for $125,000 in 6 years of my life, I graduated as Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, but they would not call me that. So now it's so ironic that I've trademarked Dr. Jacalyn. My necklace is Dr. Jacalyn. Everything, people call me Dr. Jacalyn on a regular basis. And it just brings a smile to my face, because you never know what you did in the past that you really wanted to come to fruition and you couldn't see how it would. And then there it is. Okay, so let's get into it. The topic again is what no one tells you about running a business. So most people think that businesses fail because of one big mistake. Now, in the press, in the last 6 months, 9 months, we can all think of stories of big companies that made mistakes. Maybe it was brand identity, maybe it was advertising, but that one mistake is typically not enough for the business to close down. Now, will it affect the stock price? Sure. Will some heads roll? Will people get fired? Absolutely. But the businesses typically will fall because of small, unaddressed issues that compound over time. And again, think about a personal relationship. You are with a partner for a long time, and there's little things that they're doing, and they start to nag at you. Maybe the things you loved about them now are the things that you hate about them. And it's one little thing after another. It's not something major. There are major things that happen, obviously. I don't even have to mention them. But it's typically little things over time that go unaddressed or unexpressed. Think about when you've been in a relationship, personal or business, and you actually didn't say anything about what was going on, what you were upset about. Or maybe you did and it wasn't addressed. So you decided to just bury it and it's going to go away. Well, internally, there's a strain. And the strain is that from the outside, things look functional because there's activity, there's progress, and there's effort. But internally, things are awry. There's a lot of strife and strain. And when this happens, decisions can take longer than they should. Everything ends up depending on one person. Nothing feels stable even when it's working. It's almost like you try to grasp at something and it just slips through your hands. This is where many business owners live. They're in constant motion without real momentum. And this brings me to something that I've shared many times. If you are saying to yourself and or to other people, I'm really busy. Okay. Does busy mean that you're making things happen? Does busy mean that you are finding solutions? Busy could be a lot of things. People can be busy scrolling through their phone. Does that mean that they're getting any value from it? I don't know. I'm not here to judge. But as a business owner, we are constantly challenged to look for solutions. And so many business owners, and I was this person, believe me, we have our head in the weeds, in the details. Do you know people like this? They're all about the details, but they can't see the big picture. So, as a business owner, we need to see the big picture, and then we need to be aware of the details, but typically having other people work on the details. So, having a team of people. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I'm just starting. How am I going to have a team of people? No, you're not. Initially, you are going to be the person doing all the work, but you actually have to have structure so that you can bring other people on board and you can give them tasks. You can actually delegate things, because as a business owner, if we are saying to people, oh, you know what, I can't get together with you, I'm so busy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, that doesn't mean that you're making any money. It doesn't mean that you're growing your brand. It doesn't mean that you're getting a new following. It doesn't mean that you're keeping the clients that you want to keep, because you're so busy looking busy. So I would just caution you, business owners out there, or business owners who want to be business owners, lose the word busy. I'm not so busy. I'm doing things. I'm creating things. I'm generating ideas. I am on the path to do X, Y, and Z. So always have that forward thinking, but living in the present. Okay, so my first point is this: structure is not optional. Now, I have a course, a business course that I teach. It's called Structure Equals Success, Organizational Business Development for the Solopreneur. And so in teaching this course and putting the course together, I want to just share a few things. Structure is often misunderstood. I personally am very structured. So if you know me personally or you know me professionally, I'm very structured. I'm structured with my work ethic. I'm structured with my workouts. And everything I do is based on discipline and structure. To some people, that's very boring. And I get it. I get it. Structure can be boring, but you have to be structured to be productive. That's my experience. So when I was in corporate and I would have a review, I was told this many times: you're an inch deep and you're a mile wide. And I remember the first time I was told, I think I was told it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I was really offended by it. And I thought, but I'm making things happen. I have all these appointments. That doesn't mean anything. Just because you have appointments, anyone can make appointments. You have appointments with the right people. The people have the ability to say, yes, they've got a budget. They want to make something happen. Or you're just meeting with people just because. Or you're just taking people to lunch just so you have something to do. So structure means coming up with disciplines that will ultimately generate income, or they'll generate repeat clients. They'll generate something that's going to help your business grow. So that's really important. Now, I can share this with you. When I was in corporate, I never put in anywhere near the number of hours that I put in now. Nowhere near. In fact, there were times when I actually was upset with myself that I wasn't working more when I was in corporate, but I didn't have to. I didn't have to. Now I do. And I've shared this before. I had someone from the Census Bureau come out and meet with me, knocked on my door, and he said, hey, would you be open to doing the census? And I'd never done it before. So I said, okay. So what I figured out was that I work 91 hours a week, 9-1 every week. But to me, I don't consider it working. In fact, sometimes I can't stop working. And that sounds like a problem, but it's not. I just love what I'm doing. And I have this creativity that I never actually had before in my life. So I wake up and I can't wait to get to work, because I am able to come up with ideas to help in some way, to whether it's brand identification, whether it's growing my businesses, whether it's helping my team members, whether it's helping my clients, whatever it is. And that to me is sexy. That turns me on. I think that's exciting, as opposed to clocking in every day or going somewhere, driving hours to get somewhere. And I'm not saying, because I did this myself, but I'm in a place where I know I have the exact structure that I need. And by the way, sometimes I question myself. Sometimes I get down. Sometimes I say, I wish things were happening faster than they are, but they happen as they should. And this is where you really need to take the emotion out of it. That's my suggestion. Structure is not something you add on once you grow. Structure is what allows the growth to happen without breaking you. And this is another point. People will say to me, I don't understand how you spend so many hours working. Aren't you tired? Don't you need a break? Don't you want to go on vacation? And the answer is, I feel like every day is a vacation because I'm creating my destiny. And that is something I never had the ability to do before. So, wherever you are in your life, whether you have a corporate job or you're working for yourself or you're a stay at home mom, dad, or other, you have the ability to figure out what it is that gives you a thrill to wake up in the morning. Now, I did read that Mel Robbins, what she was going through, and by the way, not a paid spokesperson, but that she had been in bed and she was in debt. And she basically said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just paraphrasing that she was getting out of bed and she was going to make something happen. And she did it day after day after day. When you find what it is that you want to do, you can't wait to go and do it. So while other people are watching hours of this or that, or maybe they're out socializing, you are doing what turns you on, and that's working. I have had situations where, and my family can tell you this, it's a holiday and I'm there with them present. And then when everyone's going to a party or going to do something, I'm like, no, I'm going to my computer because I want to work because of the structure. I have systems in place and I've been able to build the businesses so that other people can run them if something ever happened to me. Now, what I want to share is because one of my businesses has my name, Dr. Jacalyn, no one can run that business for me, right? If we have a brand that's just about us, God forbid something happens to us, no, people can't step in and be Dr. Jacalyn. People can't give a keynote speech as Dr. Jacalyn. People can't write books as Dr. Jacalyn. So we have to look at what it is that we're doing. That's why for me, for the television platform, USA Global TV and Radio, I have built that so that it will survive long after I am gone. And we do have a comment, which I love that. Thank you, Ruben Lowing. I hope I said your name right. That is what I learned in boxing and as a Navy SEAL. Yes, congratulations and thank you for your service. It's got to be fun. Absolutely. By the way, I always dreamt of being a Navy SEAL for the workout. So I really admire you for doing that. Thank you. And thanks for your comment. So structure needs to be in place. And when you put structure in place, it makes your life a lot easier, believe it or not. So for me, what are some of the things that I do? So not only do I host TV shows, but I'm the executive producer. So if you were with me from the very beginning when it was Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, and that was what an evolution, I did all the shows. I hosted all the shows. I produced all the shows. I was standing 10 hours a day behind my computer because I was taking care of my mother. She had dementia and she couldn't leave the house. I had a gym in the house. I had everything I needed. And so I did all the work. And at some point, it no longer became sustainable because I couldn't get the business to grow any further because I was in the business all the time. And finally, people were coming to me and they were saying, hey, can I host a show with you? And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then, hey, how much would it be to have a show? And I thought, okay, now I have a real business. And by the way, that was not my intention. When I first started, my intention was to give people from the Crohn's and colitis community a place to share their story. My first show was Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. I am an ulcerative colitis patient since 1991. And so I always felt like no one ever heard me. People would say, just take some Pepto-Bismol and you'll be good in the morning. No, I'm sorry. I'm running to the bathroom 50 times a day without exaggerating. And so I thought, let me give other people people who are going through chronic incurable diseases a place to share their story. And so that one show then evolved with the business show, with the talking head, on and on and on and on. So thank you to everyone who's been with me. So I didn't have any structure in the beginning. That's what I'm saying. But then when you start to have people, clients who are paying you, you need to have structure. You need to have a rainy day plan, a plan B. You need to have a plan, succession plan, so that when you're no longer here, that your team knows that your business is safe. And so their investment and their contribution and their time is safe. You also have to understand that structure doesn't mean that there's no flexibility. It doesn't mean that there's nothing that's transferable. And it doesn't mean that there's nothing that's predictable. It means that you have a system in place. Businesses don't stall because people stop trying. They stall because everything requires too much effort to sustain. I want you to think of this example. Okay, you are in a rowboat and all of a sudden water starts coming in. And you're doing the best that you can, but now you notice there's a hole in the rowboat. So you try to patch the hole up with something while the water is still coming in. Now there's another hole. You're going down. That's it. You got to jump out because that boat is going down. So it's the same thing. When you don't have structures in place, when you don't have people you trust working with you, that's when you have to worry. Now, I remember what my father always told me. He was a business owner. He was a new car dealer with his brother. And he always said that, by the way, tell people that I'm a new car dealer as opposed to a used car dealer, because I guess used car dealers at some point people had a reputation, which no judgment either way. My father would say, when I worked for him, I was the finance manager, and he would say, you need to know every single aspect of the business. You need to understand how the service department works. You need to know how payroll works, how accounting works, how sales, et cetera, et cetera. And I'd be like, Dad, it's so much I don't really want to do. And he's like, if you don't do it, people will rob you blind. Your business will go under. So I started taking note and learning different aspects of the business. Now, the same thing applies to this business. Before I started doing what I'm doing now, I sold meetings and events. I sold technology. I didn't know a single thing about having a television show, let alone a network in 60 countries. Nothing, zero. Now I can tell you what, I can do every single aspect of this business. I currently have 3 websites. I built and designed every one of them. I maintain all of them. Now you might think to yourself, well, why don't you just sub that out? I have, and I've had my websites hijacked. I've had my website taken down. So I don't trust people to do it anymore. And maybe one day I will, but now I do it. I understand search engine optimization. I've done it myself. I don't do it anymore. I have a team of people led by Amran Hosen, who does a great job, who are doing search engine optimization. I know social media marketing. I know how to do press releases. I know how to do press release distribution. These are things I used to pay other people for. I know how to do them myself. I also know how to take a TV show out over the radio airwaves. I know how to do a podcast. This is not a podcast, it's a TV show. I know how to do editing. I know how to make a commercial. I know how to do all of these things. That doesn't mean that I spend all the time doing them, but this way, when I hire someone, I know if they know what they're doing. I didn't always know that. I spent a lot of money trusting people because they had a good story. They had references, which, by the way, were not real references. That's another show for another time. Okay, so let's get back to it. The second point, visibility does not equal viability. This is where business culture creates confusion. So what am I talking about with this? Okay, we live in a world that rewards being seen. Okay, and I can tell you, I have always been someone who liked the gold stars. People would say, oh, she got another gold star. I was always about that. The degrees that I have, the accomplishments that I've had, whether it's personally, professionally. It's so funny. I just found this picture. This is completely unrelated to this show, but I just saw this picture in a pile of pictures. This is me with 2 swimming awards, okay, from when I was a little girl. Okay, that's how far back it goes, that I always wanted to have the gold stars. Okay, so gold stars are great. Like, we have the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers on our USA Global TV and Radio network station with YouTube, which was a lot of work, by the way. I love that. But with rewards being seen, this means that metrics are public, numbers are visible, right? You can go to our YouTube channels and you can see how many people are watching, how many views, etc. And attention is measurable. But attention is not infrastructure. What does this mean? What it means is visibility does not mean that your business can support itself. It doesn't mean that your operations are sound. It doesn't mean that your model is sustainable. You can look successful and be structurally weak. What do I mean by this? Okay, have you ever seen someone who's got a brand new, I don't know, Maserati? They've got a brand new Audi. They're dressed to the nines. Everything's rented, everything's leased, and they have nothing to their name, but they look successful. And what I've been told, because I don't fall into this category, but people who are super rich, you never know that they have money, the way that they dress, the cars that they drive. And actually, I know people like this. You wouldn't know they have money because they keep it quiet. They don't want people to know about their wealth because they don't want people coming to them, or they don't want to put their life at risk. Okay, so just because a business looks like it's super successful and it's sustainable, that doesn't mean it's true. In fact, visibility often hides problems because external validation masks the internal strain. And again, think about the person who's really well dressed. So if growth only works when you're constantly present, producing, then you can't scale that, because now your business is completely dependent upon you. Think about that. How long can your business be sustainable if it's just about you? So what we need to is show up consistently with margins, measurables, and boundaries. Okay, the third point is being needed is not the same as leading. Think about that. Being needed is not the same as leading. This is one that's very hard for business owners to face. When we feel like we're needed, we feel like we're validated. And think about this in a personal relationship. When someone says, "Oh, I really need you," but yet their behavior is completely different, but yet they reel us in. They reel us in. Oh, he needs me. She needs me. They need me. The business needs me. The business needs you to take the emotion out of it and come up with a plan as to how you're going to grow it, as to how you're going to bring value to your clients, how you're going to keep your clients, what it is that you're actually going to offer. And sometimes people get all caught up with saying, "I'm a business owner." Okay, being a true business owner means that it's not about you. It's about the people you serve. And so, what are you doing to address their needs? Now, this is another show, another episode also, but think about artificial intelligence. There are business owners I know who are actually terrified of it. Okay, I love it. And I love it because it does the work of, I can't even count how many people it's doing the work for that I don't have to hire. Now, does it do everything correctly? No, it absolutely does not. It makes a ton of mistakes. In fact, they've actually fired 2 of the AI bots that I've been working with. That said, "No longer pleases me to work with you because you don't do your research." So think about how you can step aside and look at the eagle's view of your business. Okay, you're a bird's eye view of your business. How can you help that business grow, as opposed to being an ostrich with the head in the sand saying, "I'm so busy"? Okay, that's not going to grow your business. That doesn't sound to me like you're going to be around for a long time. And we've got some comments. Let's see. Ruben is still with us. Thank you. Sounds familiar. And Ruben has shared a link for those who are listening later on a podcast platform. We're actually a TV station, TV show right now, but we will turn it into a podcast. My business is yourbusiness.info, INFO. I haven't had a chance to check it out, but please go ahead and check that out. Ruben, lol, my girlfriend was an Olympic water polo player in 1984. What kind of discipline did that take, right? That's amazing. Okay, Ruben, you were talking about being intentional. Yes, thank you so much for getting what I'm saying. It makes me feel really good. And by the way, that's forgetting, not forgetting. And I just share your podcast, good stuff. Thank you so much, Ruben. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I want to go back to what I was talking about as we are going to close out this show shortly, but it's about being a leader. Okay, and by the way, being a leader, you will fail. Okay, I have failed so many times. I have hired people. I have lost, let's see, with one company, I lost 35,000. With another one, I lost 15,000 because I believed what they told me. I believed the references that they gave me. And I didn't actually do any deep dive work to make sure they were telling me the truth. So that's on me. I raise my hand and I say, you know what? I'm accountable for that. So the one thing that I did learn, I'm going to say this is the $35,000 lesson that one of the people who took me for the money, he told me, is to find the solution. Put the emotion aside, and that's what I do. So as a leader, there is not a single point of failure. Okay, the leadership, the leading that we do, we will find opportunities, those carrots that are dangling in front of us, and we'll reach out for them because it seems like a great way to save time, for example, or someone's got the next greatest idea. And by the way, I want to share this. In the position that I'm in the public domain, people come to me with a lot of great ideas. That's what say, I've got a great idea. I'd love to meet with you. And so I used to get all excited. This is the answer. I finally have the answer of what I'm looking for. This person is coming forward with the answer. And then I would just be sucked into it because I came from a place of desperation instead of a place of confidence. And so after making enough mistakes, and I'm sure I'll make more, I don't even look at them as mistakes anymore. I look at them as key learnings. From every single one of them, I have learned something. And I used to beat myself up over it. And now I go, you know what? Thank you for that lesson. Thank you very much. Because now that's something that I can pass on to other people. I am currently enrolled at Wharton, the Wharton Business School, for their Chief Strategy Officer program. And I'm looking forward to what I'm going to learn over this. I think it's an 11-month plan. First, it seemed like it was 6 months, but now it's going till December. And that's part of why I do what I do in my leadership role. I educate myself so that I can pass it on to my team and I can pass it on to my clients, because not everyone has the opportunity to go to Wharton. Not everyone has the opportunity to be a peace ambassador and spend 3 hours on a Saturday, week after week after week for training. But because of the choices that I've made, I do have these opportunities. And so to me, I will put myself out there so that I can then pass on the information and, of course, incorporate the information into what it is that I'm doing as well. So as a business owner, if anything I'm sharing with you resonates, I really would appreciate the opportunity to hear from you and have you subscribe to our 2 YouTube channels. So Ruben, I know you're watching on LinkedIn, which is terrific. I'd love for you to go over to YouTube and subscribe, and I'll put up the picture of where you can subscribe. So I want to close things out for a minute. I want you to think about clarity, delegation, and systems that function without your emotional attachment. If you were to step away, I'm going to step back towards my green screen. If you were to step away and everything is going to fall apart, it's not that you didn't put in the effort. It's that there wasn't any structure. So Tomorrow, I have started a nonprofit, and our first board meeting is tomorrow. And so we are going to review the mission statement. We're going to review the bylaws. We're going to look at what is the structure of the nonprofit? What is the goal of the nonprofit? What are the checks and balances? Who are the officers? How are we going to keep everyone accountable? If the structure isn't solid from the beginning, then we're not going to be able to honor our mission, which is to give the voiceless a voice. So, in tying everything together in something I call the uncomfortable pattern, here's the pattern that ties all this together. Most business owners underestimate what they're building. I had someone say this to me, and it kind of was an eye opener. This person said to me, I don't think that you realize what you've built with this television network. And I said, what do you mean? And the person said, 10,000 shows, 60 countries. You got to over 100,000 subscribers just on one channel and won the award 3 years after you've been in business. You're going to be the next Fox News. Now, I know some of you don't like Fox, but this is what the person said. And someone said, you're the next Diane Sawyer, and I just started to laugh. I'm not Diane Sawyer. Hi, Diane, if you're out there. And of course, this isn't Fox News, but they saw something in what it is that I'm doing. And to me, I thought, you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm not just going to go, oh, nice job. No, I'm going to take that and think to myself, okay, they see something. What can I continue to do so that I'm moving a step closer to having an even bigger network, meaning more people are able to come on here. We are currently running shows in English, German, and French. I mean, to me, that's astounding. We have people who are bilingual who are doing shows. They're alternating. 1 week it's in English, the next week it's in French. We have people who are doing 1 week it's in English, the next week it's in German, and then someone else who's doing shows completely in German. I couldn't even imagine that this would happen. But people come to me with ideas, and I listen carefully to what they say without the emotions. And I think, would it be possible to run this network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And I thought, in order to do that, we're going to have to be running in countries, in other words, having show hosts in countries where we're not. So this summer, I started traveling and meeting some of the people who have stood with me and come up with these amazing ideas. And I can't go everywhere in the world because I don't have the money and I don't have the time. But I want to just put it out there. If you would like to have your own TV show, whether it's in English or some other language, I'd love to hear from you as we continue to grow what we're doing. Because if we only had 5 or 6 or 10 show hosts and we're trying to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we're going to get burnt out. And with that burnout, it's going to come resentment and a quiet disengagement. And that's not what we want. That's not what we want. We don't want exhaustion. So if one of these things that I shared with you today, if it stood out for you more than another, if it's worth paying attention to, I'd love to hear from you. I would love to know what you're doing in your business, how you built your business, and maybe where you are and you're looking to grow. And so how can we collaborate? I'm all about collaboration, and I'm all about introducing people to one another. I love that. To me, that is a turn on to say, you know what? I think you would be a great connection for meeting this person. And my people on my team, they'll tell you that that's what I do. So I want to thank you. We've got some more comments. Oh, thank you. The ability to maximize the potential of others. Thank you, Ruben. I appreciate it. And you subscribed. Yay! That made my day. Thank you. Thank you. So for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, let me just bring this up. So we have 2 YouTube channels. And here they are, USA Global TV and Radio. That's where we earned the award from YouTube for 100,000 subscribers. And now we're working on 1 million. And Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. So we have these 2 channels. We also stream, in addition to social media, some of our programs like this one will stream through a distributor tomorrow. And so we will be on Samsung, LG, Roku. We're on Amazon Fire right now, but we'll also be on Amazon Fire through E360 TV. So we are always looking at meeting with distributors to find out where else we can take our content. So we have one more question. Have you heard of TVUer? I have not.com. Sorry, I have not. I will look it up. Thank you, Ruben. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. It's been an incredibly exciting day. I did a show right before this, which was really more of a conversation. It's called Let's Finally Talk. You can catch me here every night at 8 o'clock Eastern time for Let's Finally Talk. And this is my first episode of Talking Heads in a long time. So before I go, I do want to share with you, I'm going to bring up our website for those of you who are not familiar. If you are interested in being a guest, let me bring it up. I'm actually producing the show, so give me a moment. You can go over to our website. It's usaglobaltv.com, and I'll drop the link here. We have information. I'm not going to go through all of this now, but if you're interested in being a show host and if you're interested in being a guest, to be a guest, you can come over here. What we offer is 3 complimentary interviews in a calendar year. So for 2026, you would come over here and you would click this button. If you've already had 3 interviews, which I know you haven't had 3 yet, but if you get to the point where you have, then it's $154 per interview, and you would go here. And people will say, well, why would I have to pay for an interview? Well, I mean, we're paying for airtime here, people. I mean, this costs money, believe it or not. And so if you keep coming back over and over again for any of our shows, then you're taking the spot of somebody else who may not be able to get on the show. And then if you'd like to come back a total of 10 times in a year, you can join our team. And to join our team means that you take my 2-hour course called The Power of Elevated Listening. And all of my team members, all of our TV show hosts have all taken my courses, and they're all elevated listeners, because when we're interviewing people, we are listening without judgment. We're listening without problem solving, without stage hogging, and without interrupting. So you can go over here, you become a member of our team. It's a 2-hour course. You get your certificate. You can put it on your LinkedIn, and you also get to come here. And if you're interested in further visibility for your video, there's a lot of things that we can do here to help you. So you can click on that and we will be in touch with you. If you're interested in being a host, you can apply here. And so you keep scrolling down, but I'm just going to do this. Let's say you come here and you want to book your session. So first, we have live experiences. We've got our reunion show that's coming up, 4 years. And you're welcome to have your 15 minutes of fame. It's not an interview. It's just you pitching whatever it is that you do. Then we have our Elevated Listening Summit, which is also open to the public. And so for $36, you can come and have your time slot and talk about whatever it is that you're doing. We have a retreat that's coming up at the Horseshoe Farm in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And then we have courses. These are some of the courses I teach: Setting Boundaries and Asking Permission, Judgment Detox. This is the one I referred to today. Course, Structure Equals Success, Organizational Development for Solopreneurs. And if you want to take your podcasting platform, your interviewing skills to the next level, I personally have either produced or hosted over 9,000 shows. So I've got a lot of experience here. Here are the shows that we have: The Corner Bookstore, The Wise Ones, Die Mutmacher Show, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. This is one of my shows, The Hidden Sin of Judgment. That's based on the book that I wrote, which I'll show you in a minute. We also have You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. This is another show that I host, Iconic Women. Intentional Productivity Tips, Dementia Home Care, Authentic Achievements, The Holistic Alternative. This is Floxed, The Persistence Payoff Show, Back to Paradise, A Woman's Prerogative. And then you can hire me to be your coach. You can book time with me. And then this is for a special guest that's going to register. So that's what I want to share with you about that. And as we close out, I have written this book, Holy But Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment. This is not to find blame or shame. It's to make us aware of when we are judging other people and how to show up when we're being judged. So with that, I will share with you the golden rule. The golden rule is this: before we speak, before we write, before we post on social media, we ask ourselves these 3 questions. 1, is it kind? 2, is it necessary? And 3, is it true? Now, when it comes to the part of is it true, sometimes we will manipulate the truth. We know the truth includes this, but we respond with this, and we leave out this because this doesn't work for us. So we just go with this. That's what I talk about in my book, Holy But Harmful. And my other book, which I really feel is the Bible of books that I have, it's called Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. So these are available on Amazon, and you can go and pick them up there. I've written books for children, and I am not going to leave a legacy as an author. If someone gets something from what I'm writing, I appreciate it. But my goal is to help people find inner peace. And so if you are interested in finding inner peace, if you are interested in sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, please do consider joining our team. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We're going to close out. I actually have recorded my first and only single, I always wanted to be a singer. That's hard to say, single and singer. And so I went to London in November. I was going to say last month, but now it's January. And I recorded something called Please Listen to What I Say with the fabulous Maddie Loveday. And we had Abbey Road in London master it. So this is just a very short clip of my single called Please Listen to What I Say. It's available on Apple. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Spotify. I think it's 99 cents. Thanks for being here. I'll see you again for another episode. And please do subscribe. And Ruben, thanks for being here with me. You made my night. Bye, everyone.
Listen, babe, now. 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 Listen, babe, now.
In a noisy world, true connection begins with listening. Elevated listening transforms every conversation in just 5 simple steps. Pause and breathe. Set your intention. Listen with curiosity. Reflect back. Agree on one next step. Join the Listening Mentor on Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, where we help you find inner peace, one conversation at a time. Streaming every day. Let's Finally Talk TV show with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, only here on USA, Global TV and Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channels to watch and engage with all our content.
Have you ever felt unheard? Like your words float into a void, leaving you invisible and disconnected? How about feeling judged, when assumptions overshadow your truth, leaving you misunderstood and defensive? And then there's that moment when someone offers solutions you never asked for, dismissing your feelings and leaving you more frustrated than before. It doesn't have to be this way. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, understands. She's here to help you reclaim your voice, build stronger connections, and create meaningful conversations that inspire understanding and mutual respect. Through her groundbreaking books, online and in-person courses, and interactive workshops, you'll learn how to navigate life's most challenging interactions. Discover the power of elevated listening and transform how you communicate. Master setting boundaries and asking permission to protect your peace. Learn to recognize and release judgment, fostering empathy and true connection. Dr. Kerbeck also offers personalized coaching, one-on-one or group sessions designed to fit your unique needs. Whether in person or virtually on StreamYard, her guidance will empower you to thrive. You don't have to struggle alone. The path to deeper connections and better relationships start here. Visit drjacalyn.com or usaglobaltv.com. Join a global community of empowered listeners and transform your life, one meaningful conversation at a time. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor. Start your journey today. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.